welcome to episode 524, take 3. I'm Sean.
And I'm Ian, and this is the only podcast that says.
Well, that was a fucking clusterfuck.
Nice.
Yeah. Unfucking believable. Like, just what last week was.
Oh, yeah.
You don't even know the story, and you're like, oh, yeah.
No, it was for me.
You know what your end of it was, but my end is debacle.
Okay.
You were sick.
Yeah.
Like, let's explain from the start. You were ill last week. Had a cough. Still suffering from the cough. You got toilet paper here to blow your nose.
Yeah.
You know, so you're feeling the ill effects of whatever bit you.
Yeah.
So last week you sent me a text message, plenty of time. It wasn't like a last minute deal, like, you know, I'm leaving at 8:30 and you're at 8:25, like, hey, by the way. And you're like, okay, great. I tell Nancy, hey, I'm gonna need you to record a podcast. She's like, not a problem. So Saturday night we get ourselves set up, all set to go, and we're recording. We're having some really, really good conversation. Like, it was really interesting. And when we record, we record in our kitchen.
Yeah.
And I got it set up so we have a round table with 4 chairs. And so I'm at the one and Nancy's to my right. Now 2 on my left, I have the computer set up, and it goes into a plug in the wall to my left. Because my computer screwed up, the battery doesn't work, so you have to have it plugged in at all times.
Right.
I need a new fucking computer. But anyway, to my left. And he's just chilling, he's not doing anything. Nothing wrong. But something happened where he lost his balance and he knocked the chair over. So 45 minutes into recording the podcast, that chair falls over, it catches the power cord and yanks it out of the computer. The computer immediately shuts down. Like, there's no pause, there's no save. No, immediately shut down.
Uh-huh.
So, it's hard to be mad, but, you know, fuck, Darby, why? So, I pick it back up, plug it back in, get everything set back up. Couldn't retrieve the files, they were unretrievable. So we start again. Now, at this point, it's almost midnight.
Yeah.
So we go another hour and a half. So now it's almost 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
We finish the episode up. Everything's taken care of. I start doing what I got to do to take the, add the music in, everything I'm supposed to do. I thought I saved it as an MP3. I did not. And so the next night when I'm going to set up, to post the podcast, it's not there. Not there. I've searched everywhere. Did not save that fucking episode.
Nice.
So it was gone. It was at 9 o'clock at night, they said, well, we can re-record it if you want to. I'm like, I am not going to sit here at 9 o'clock on a Sunday, record for an hour and a half, and then spend another hour posting the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm done. So that's why there was no episode last week, folks. It was just a debacle of epic proportions from all sides.
Nice.
I apologize for those of you who enjoy listening to us in the shower and doing whatever it is they do to themselves in the case of Superfan Thad. But, yeah, that was that. So.
Okay.
Yeah. How have you been?
Sick.
Sick.
Yeah.
That's never fun.
Yeah, it was last week. I ended up getting it.
Yeah.
Like, last Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
And I don't know. First thing that came on was cough.
Yeah.
I was like, that's weird. Uncontrollable.
Yeah.
And then sinuses draining. And then I had fever one day. And then that was done.
Yeah.
And then it's just been the cough ever since. I've had, like, interrupted sleep. Big time.
Yeah.
And it's been a nightmare. It's been an awful
Yeah.
cold. Ellie's still coughing.
Well.
She had it a week before me, so
Yeah.
I can't even imagine how long this fucking thing's gonna last.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's a nightmare. So yeah, I'm just beat. Like last night I couldn't go to bed till went to bed at like midnight, woke up at 1:30, couldn't go back to bed till 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Slept till 9. Tried to go back to sleep, couldn't.
Yeah.
So I'm just exhausted. That's
Well, you look like shit.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Keeping it 100 here.
I feel like ass.
I'm sure.
Yeah. And it's mostly just tired.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just so fucking tired. I don't have any symptoms. I mean, I have the sinuses
Yeah.
and the cough.
Yeah.
I mean, like any other, like I don't have sore throat. I don't have, nothing's tingling in the back of my throat, you know,
Right.
like that cold.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No fever, none of that shit. Just tired.
Yeah.
And like it sucks because the main thing you do for colds, you know, to get better for your immune system is rest.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't even do that. And then I'm working on top of this shit.
Right.
So it's truly a nightmare when I can't sleep.
Yeah.
That's how I kick a cold.
Yeah.
I just go to bed.
Yeah. No,
I
exactly.
get up, I drink, you know, Gatorade or water, or today I have Mountain Dew today because I needed to wake up a little bit. But yeah, just hydrate myself, take the appropriate and then meds as needed,
Yeah.
which I think don't work. And, you know. So one thing I don't understand about Mucinex. Mucinex never does anything for me except gives me a stomach ache.
Yeah.
No, really.
Yeah.
It upsets my gut. I don't know what's in that fucking thing. I mean, I know what's in it.
Right.
But, you know, I'm reading the package and everyone says, I'll get Mucinex, it'll help you. Well, it never does anything to me.
Right.
But my problem with Mucinex is, like, helps control cough.
Yeah.
Also an expectorant. Isn't that counterintuitive?
Yeah.
You don't want it to be an expectorant if you want to control the cough.
Right.
Because it's the stuff that's coming up and draining that's making you cough.
Yeah.
It just never made sense to me.
No.
You're putting two medicines to work that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. So, I got Alka-Seltzer.
I'm a Dayquil, NyQuil guy.
Can't do it.
No.
And NyQuil works for me.
Yeah.
Great. Because it knocks me out.
Yeah.
But I don't have those type of symptoms.
Yeah.
So I felt like I shouldn't. Maybe I should have. But I felt like I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
But Dayquil doesn't do jack. I mean, that shit. It doesn't. I even tried to get some Tussin today.
Ooh.
I was
yeah.
like desperate.
Yeah. The old Tussin, that'll.
Yeah. Give me the fucking Tussin.
Yeah.
Give me something. But I ended up buying like, I don't know, some liquid.
Did you rub a little Vicks Vapor Rub on your chest and?
No. Yuck. I don't want to smell that. I hate that shit.
Oh.
But,
The only thing worse, like, it was like the old home remedy of like, well, rub a little Vicks Vapor Rub on your chest and you breathe that in. What even worse was like if you had like a humidifier, like they had like the little tray. You put the Vicks Vapor Rub in the little tray, and it like blew out with the air. Like, oh, I hated that shit when I was a kid.
I hate it. Period.
Yeah.
I never put my girls to that either.
Yeah, I mean that was like an old school home remedy that I'm sure like any doctor would tell you like you know don't do that.
Yeah.
But like back in the day, like in the 70s, like that was like, you know.
I even thought about it at one point last week. You know, like during the week, I almost considered doing one of those old school neti pots or whatever they call them.
Yeah.
But then I heard horror stories on that, so I'm like, fuck that. I ain't doing that. No, I mean, like, you got to sterilize the water and shit.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
Like, there's people who've gotten really, really sick from these.
Yeah.
From unsterilized water.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I ain't going through all that. I used to know swimmers that did it all the time.
Yeah, it's that. That's the thing. I can't imagine like blowing water up my nose.
Yeah, sticking your head into a bowl and then covering your head and breathing that in, and I'm like, then they blow it all out in the bowl. I'm like, I think that would make me barf.
That's like they sell those electric ones now. Like you put your nostrils in it in like the thing.
Yeah.
And then you turn it on, it blows it like water in one nostril and it comes out the other, and like you can see like the goo coming out. I'm like, oh no, thank you.
Well, see, my sinuses have never changed.
Yeah.
Like, neither is the stuff that I'm coughing up.
Yeah.
It's all clear.
Yeah.
And there's no signs. Like, I thought maybe I'm getting walking pneumonia here, you know. But there's no signs of like infection. There's nothing's turning. It's completely clear. So that's telling me that it's all sinus drainage.
Yeah.
And the cough's productive, but it's productive because of my sinuses draining down into my fucking throat.
Right.
But there's nothing coming up that's, you know, green or yellow or thick or anything like that. No fluorescence. So I've had that before. The last time I was sick, I didn't have any problems with, I mean, a little problem with the sinuses, but not bad, not like this.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, like, you know, you blow your nose and you look at it. Like, I do, because, like, when I'm sick, I got to know what's going on.
Right.
Like, I got to make sure that it's clear. I know people are like, ew, that's disgusting. Well, I'm the guy, I got to know what's going on inside of my fucking nose.
Right.
My sinuses.
Right.
And I woke up one morning and I blew it out, and I was like, it was like fucking kryptonite green.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it. I was like,
yeah.
How did my body produce anything like that? Like, I've never seen that color come out.
Yeah.
It was like glowing. I'm like, what the fuck?
I only had that come out the other end.
Yeah. But I have never had like kryptonite green like that. I'm like, oh my God. And then like after that it was done. That was all that was in there. So yeah, it's been a week of sickness.
Yeah.
But I did see the episodes of Strange New Worlds.
Okay.
Phenomenal.
They were.
That first one was fucking intense.
It was. It was really good.
Oh man.
Like I really like that. I mean, the second episode is fantastic as well. But I like that first episode. Like with like, I really like that. I like the whole concept of like we're gonna steal the Enterprise and.
Yeah. I was into it.
Yeah.
Spock.
Yeah.
Being more human. You know, in a sense.
Yeah.
Oh, his desperate plea to get to her.
Oh yeah. Like I mean, that whole thing. Like when. That was like really like. Very interesting and very well done.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like I was just like, oh damn. I mean,
yeah.
And you can see like the conflict on his face, and like I shouldn't be feeling this way.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know.
So anyway, it was good.
Yeah,
good episode, and it had no Pike in it whatsoever.
No, like which was like at first I was kind of like bummed out. 'Cause I'm like, well, what's Pike doing? Like, what's Pike up to? But it played out beautifully. I mean, that episode was just like without Pike.
It was awesome.
It was awesome. I was like really impressed with it.
Yeah, and the second one was good too.
Yeah, the second one was fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. So that series started off good.
Yeah.
I mean, like, guns a-blazing.
Exactly.
I'm good to go. I'm ready
Yeah.
for next week's. Yeah. It's a good show.
It is. It's really, like, it is so fucking good. I can't believe how good it is.
So, I did start The Dead.
You know,
City of the Dead.
City of the Dead. You've been lured back into the Walking Dead.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I do. It reminds me of the old Walking Dead.
Yeah.
You know, that fear, that what's around the corner.
Yeah.
Don't walk too hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like it. You know, you're probably not going to watch it, but
I'm not. No,
but,
I can't do that to myself again.
Right, I know.
You know,
but So I'm gonna spoil it.
Spoil away, yeah.
I like the fact they're in Manhattan.
Yeah.
With so many people there. But when they're discovered in Manhattan, I thought one of the coolest things that I saw in this show were the zombies were just walking off balconies and shit in Manhattan.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
15 stories up.
Yeah.
To try to get to eat.
Yeah.
So all you heard was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you could see them falling.
Yeah.
I thought that was amazing. But Jeffrey Dean Morgan chewing up screen like that.
Yeah.
And I liked Maggie as well.
Yeah.
So this fits in right with what I like. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it looked really good. Like like when I saw the trailer for it, I contemplated. I'm like, nah, maybe I'll give this. I'm like, no, don't do it to yourself.
There's this one part where they're being chased because Glenn's kid is now like 15.
Yeah.
And Maggie's kid.
Yeah.
And so he gets kidnapped. Somebody took him. And this is one of Negan's croonies from back in the day.
Yeah.
And Negan let him go.
Yeah.
Or tried to kill him.
Yeah.
Turns out. And but Negan's changed. You know, he's not
right. He's not. Yeah.
That guy anymore. And like he's in the beginning of the episodes, he's with a little girl.
Yeah.
And Maggie still hates him. You know what I mean? But
right.
he's like, I'll go with you to find this guy, but you got to take her. You have to put her, keep her safe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's important to me. So
right.
Almost like a father type
yeah.
of thing. But so I'm watching. I'm waiting to see if he's gonna come out or not. You know what I mean? Out of that shell. And there's this one part where they're being chased. And they're kind of cornered. And everybody's gone. But he captures this guy. And they're all he's like on it's almost like a mall. It's not a mall. It's like an office building. But you can see down to the next story.
Right.
And he goes something like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. And he has a guy by the head. And each time he says eeny or meeny or miny or mo, he puts his head through a window.
Yeah.
To get their attention.
Yeah.
So he finally gets to the outlook where he brings them out,
Uh-huh.
And then Negan comes out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's like, he tells a joke or something like that. It's fucking funny. It's great, right? It's Negan.
Right.
And he gets a knife and he starts fucking stabbing him, right? And the blood's squirting down onto the people below. It's a warning. Don't follow me or this is going to happen to you.
Yeah.
Badass, right? And then he disembowels him and throws his fucking guts on him. And then he throws the dude over at him.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn. And Maggie's like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
But that's the guy you need in this situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He did it on purpose.
Right.
Because he didn't want him following. You know what I mean? Badass. Total badass. So, I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Truly. It's
good.
It's good shit.
Yeah.
I like the bad guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like what's going on. Like it's in Manhattan.
Yeah.
Where there's all kinds of threats. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
A little Kurt Russell.
Escape from New York.
Ish.
Yeah.
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 So I'm quite enjoying it.
Right.
So, anyway, so I started that. That was good. Watched 2 episodes so far, and it's excellent. And I saw Transformers last weekend.
Okay.
Killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, loved it. Truly.
Good.
Yeah. I'm not going to tell you much about it, but I can say that I appreciated that I can see them transform.
Well, that was a real change that took place with Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Like getting as far away as possible from the jaggedy-edged Michael Bay.
This was a Bay production, but a Spielberg produced.
Right, because I think like I think Michael Bay has to have his name attached, like contractually, like he gets to have his name attached to it, but he's not involved in it like he was with the other ones.
Yeah.
Like I mean, so I feel like they've softened that look. They've gone back to more of like the G1 look.
For sure. Like when Optimus changes.
Yeah.
So fucking badass. You can see the truck plates
Yeah.
in the front, and they're kind of off a little.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like beautiful metal.
Yeah.
It's like, they're just kind of off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. There was a couple cartoon moments.
Right.
And that's what Ellie said. I was like, there's just kind of a couple of those moments where Optimus is just standing there, and he's like, humans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but I was like, that's from the cartoon. I mean, like that's what he does.
Right.
He's the leader. He's the prime. So I appreciated that. I wasn't sure I was gonna like the beasts.
Yeah.
But they look phenomenal.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what's his name? Crushed it as Mirage.
Pete Davidson.
Yeah, crushed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you'll appreciate it.
Yeah.
There's one part I did not appreciate. I couldn't. Like, there was one part where we were in the theater.
Yeah.
It's later, way later on.
Yeah.
At the end of the movie. And it was all quiet, and the scene went down, and I literally out loud, I was like, get the fuck out of here. Like, everybody heard me in that theater.
Yeah.
The girl started laughing. It just came out. And I'm like, and that's the only, like, negatory takeaway I can take from it. But I like how there was more human involvement in this.
Right.
And there was a little bit of layers there.
Yeah.
Like, they were small enough to get into places that they needed to get to without being seen. And
right, yeah.
I appreciated that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Versus them just going in and just wrecking house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. But I really like Mirage. It was really good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mirage was cool. I wish there was a little bit more of the other ones. Like, I wish they would have developed those a little bit more.
Yeah.
But, I mean, how much time do you have?
Right, yeah. I mean, you get, like 4 or 5, like, real, like, you know, Optimus, B, Mirage is your new.
Right.
Maybe RC a little bit.
Yeah.
But you also have to throw in, you know,
Slipstream or whatever her name was.
Yeah, but also, like, you know, the gorilla.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like you had to come in on with him.
Right.
That Optimus.
Yeah.
Or that Prime.
That Prime and the cheetah.
Yeah, which they didn't really develop the cheetah.
Right, yeah.
They developed more of the hawk.
Yeah.
A little bit more than the cheetah. And there was another person too, I don't remember. You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't develop them all. I mean, I understand that. But you didn't really need to.
Yeah.
I mean, you had enough going on with Mirage and the kid.
Yeah.
You know? There was a part at the end where I felt like I was watching In the Heights again, which I didn't appreciate.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I was like, you completely bit off In the Heights.
Yeah.
Like, I am, da-da-da-da, I live, and he's
Yeah.
telling the end of the story. I'm like, yeah, I saw this In the Heights.
Yeah.
So I didn't like that. And there was that one part I just couldn't.
Right.
It couldn't, I couldn't.
Like,
I couldn't get past it.
Right. Do you feel, though, that this sets up the franchise for a better future?
The look of the transformations, yes. I don't know where they're going to go from here.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure they're going to go somewhere.
Right.
It was 100 times better than that Wahlberg for that piece of crap. Truly.
The Last Night is probably, I think it's called The Last Night, is probably one of the worst movies I've ever watched in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, that was horrible.
It was. This was definitely, you know, B is connected to this movie.
Yeah.
And there's reference. I was almost disappointed that she wasn't in it.
Yeah.
As an older version of herself.
Yeah. The Bumblebee movie, you mean?
Yes, the Bumblebee movie. It's connected.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at this point they don't trust humans at all.
Yeah.
This isn't, except for B.
Yeah.
Because he's the one that made contact.
Right.
But, it's kind of like, it is a reboot. This is the beginnings. This is before Megatron. Whatever. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it was good, dude. That was my Father's Day gift. I completely enjoyed it, though.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Like I said, aside for that one part.
Yeah.
I just couldn't get past it.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. I was like, I get it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, but I can't believe they fucking pimp themselves out like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. All right, so I did also watch this week the season or the premiere episode of Secret Invasion.
I did too.
Yeah. What'd you think of that?
Sorry.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I found it very interesting.
Yeah, I like the old Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But I found it interesting. Like, I mean, it's in that spy sandbox.
Yeah.
That I like, and which is what I was expecting, but also like I'm intrigued to see how this all plays out.
Yeah. I mean, they're crushing it on reviews, but I didn't think it was that bad.
I rather enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know what you're expecting from a first episode. I thought it did a good job of kind of setting things in motion.
Yeah.
Oh,
people crushed the Transformers movie too.
Yeah.
Like, it's really not that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I wanted to say, have you seen the shit before?
Yeah.
Did you see the Constructicons balls?
Yeah.
Because I did.
Yeah. Did you see John Turturro telling a naval captain, yes, I'm directly under his testicles?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
Jeez. Anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, I really thought. I dug it because it's like that thing of like. Not many people know the Skrulls even exist.
Right.
Like, of all the shit that's taking place, like in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like this is one of the deepest secrets.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes sense that it would be. But also, it's like that interesting thing of like, again, we're dealing with ramifications of like something that happened like 5 years ago now with the blip.
Yeah.
Fury's a changed man because when he left Earth, he's up on Saber. What the fuck is Saber?
Yeah.
I know what Saber is from the comic books, but how are you changing it to meet your needs for the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Right.
Like, there's a lot of interesting things that, like, I'm kind of questioning that, like, I'm hoping I get answers to because you're setting up the questions for me.
Yeah.
And I mean, the character of Nick Fury is an interesting one. Like, 'cause he was the guy who was always, like they say, like, he was always, like, 3 steps ahead.
Yeah.
And now...
Even his walk through Moscow. He knew it was going to happen.
Yeah. Like, so it's like this, like, it's an interesting thing to, like, kind of look at and, like, say, like, okay, well, how does this all play out?
Yeah. We will see.
We will see. But I thought it was a very good first episode. It pulled me in and kept me.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it whatsoever.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Also, and I did not know this, but I found this out, the Righteous Gemstones are back on.
Yeah, I haven't started it yet.
Yeah, I watched the first 2 episodes today.
I think I watched something else, too.
That show is fantastic.
Yeah, it's good. I know I watched a documentary on this town in New York.
Yeah.
It's not interesting. It's not podcast worthy. No, it's not. It's just murders happened within 10 years it was done. And just watched Clerks today.
Yeah, I watched Clerks 3. I came in for the ending of that, so I got sappy-eyed.
Yeah. It'll come to me. I know I saw something else this week. Nah, I don't know.
Okay.
Figure it out. It'll come to me.
Yeah.
Medicine Haze.
And of course, we've had the Titanic mini sub-drama.
Oh, God. That was like so anticlimactic.
It was. Like the entire time, I'm like, the second they said, well, there's a problem, like, oh, well, they're dead.
Yeah. That was all media hyped. That whole thing was media hyped.
Oh, yeah.
They only have 2 hours air left. They're fucking dead, dude.
Yeah.
That's what I said to the kids. I was like, they're gone to Zoe.
Yeah.
If
Yeah, day one, I was like, no, there's no coming back.
Right. If there's any kind of mechanical failure or anything, they're done. And then everybody started riding about the fucking... how it was a joystick that they controlled their thing with. I don't care about anything about that. It has nothing to do with anything. And no, seriously. I mean, there's things in this world that are operated on a joystick style.
Right. But here's the difference, though. Like, here's the difference, okay? That was a Logitech joystick that you could buy at any GameStop.
Yeah.
I mean, that...
versus being government issued.
Well, versus something constructed specifically for what you're doing.
Yeah, I don't know. I have.
Like, here's the thing. I read an interview with James Cameron on this. Because if there's any... and I know we just spent a couple weeks ago just shitting all over James Cameron for doing the Avatar movies. But if there's anybody who's an expert on this subject, it's Cameron.
Yeah.
And he talked about... he went to the guy who owned this, the CEO of this whole operation. And he's like, you are throwing safety standards aside and doing this in a very willy-nilly fashion.
Yeah.
And you're going to get somebody killed.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, he talked about, like, I wanted to go down to the Titanic. I wanted to see it with my own eyes. It's his fascination. He spent 3 years building a submersible that could do that on a computer. I didn't even get the fucking thing wet for 3 years.
Yeah.
It was on a computer before I even attempted anything.
Uh-huh.
Like, you were just cashing in as quickly as possible, and you were throwing, not that there were any safety regulations, but any safety guidelines that everybody else who's ever done deep dives like this, you just threw them out the window to get down there as quickly as possible and make a buck.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there is a problem with it being a Logitech controller that you can buy at a GameStop. Like, everything about this was done on the cheap.
Yeah.
To get there as fast as possible. And that's the problem. Like, if you had constructed something real, taken time, looked at what other people had done, instead of basically, welding up a tin can and controlling it with a Logitech controller that you can buy for $10, like, then I'd say, like, okay, wow, this is a tragedy. But it's not a tragedy because it was the biggest clusterfuck that you could ever put together. And the fact that somebody else who's considered an intelligent person because they are wealthy was dumb enough to give you $250,000, $250,000, so they can go down and see the fucking Titanic through a window pane that you could probably buy at Sears.
Yeah.
I don't feel sorry for them because they're just as stupid.
Yeah.
Like, I would have looked at that operation and been like, no, thank you. I'll talk to the Cousteau people.
Yeah.
I'll talk to Ballard. I'll talk to anybody else. I am not. This looks like something that I wouldn't trust to go to the bottom of the Monongahela River in. Like, really? I mean, that's honestly how I felt. Like, and to hear Cameron talk about it, like, this all could have been avoided if he had just taken his time and done things right.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, wow. You know, and then you see like the interview with the guy, and the guy's like, you know, they say it's dangerous to do, but you know what? It's dangerous to drive your car. You could die driving your car. You could die walking out on the street. You can die get off the couch and take a risk. Well, me driving a car is not nearly as risky as going to the bottom of the ocean, 2 miles down.
That's what freaks me out about. That's what freaks me out about the Musk flights.
Yeah.
Like, and I know he's invested, and I know he has probably the most intelligent people on the planet working for him. Do you know what I mean? But then you see a fucking complete failure, or you see a
right,
a misdock,
right,
explosion, or and get about halfway there and then back into the ocean. You know, that's what makes me nervous even about his manned space flights. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be doing something.
Him
different.
and the guy who owns Virgin, and I can't remember. There's a third guy who's doing it. And they all their ships look like giant fucking dicks.
Yeah.
It's like, really? But I mean, like, yeah. I mean, like, like it's that thing of like, space flight is extraordinarily risky.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to think that you can like, oh, we've conquered it. No, we haven't.
No, we have not.
And you're right. Like, I feel like, Musk and probably the guy from Virgin, I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Sir Richard Branson. Like, I'm sure that they've spent billions of dollars in design and engineering and everything else. But it's still that thing of just, man, anything can go wrong.
Yeah,
and this guy didn't spend billions of dollars.
I know.
He spent hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, no, I know. But I mean, like, it's like, if they're having problems, you know what I mean? Like, it just seems to me like with all the minds in the world, it can't be that complicated to achieve spaceflight. I mean, do you know what I mean?
But it is.
I know. I know.
I mean,
but why?
Because the atmospheric conditions that you're taking off from do not match the atmospheric conditions that you're going into.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you're talking about a massive change, and then and re-entry is a whole nother. You got to come back.
Well, it just seems to me that we should have some kind of space docking station upstairs where these manned starships.
Right.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying starship like
right.
Enterprise, but some
right.
type of starship flight thing can be already docked up in space, built up in space. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So they're already ready for space. And then another venue to get you back down. You know, some kind
right.
of something.
I mean, we had that. That's called the shuttles.
Yeah, no, I know.
But, I mean, like, the real key is, like, and we're talking about going back to the moon. And I know there are some out there, and I'm not going to name names. Yeah, there are some out there who are going to tell us it's the first time we've been to the moon. But it's that it's just that deal of, like, how do you incorporate, like, the International Space Station into that?
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? Like, so are you setting that up as a launch platform? Because, I mean, like, the thing I remember is, like, it's like a 3-day trip to the moon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's the amazing thing is, it's like, we think, well, it's just right fucking there. It's a 3-day trip based upon even probably current technology.
Yeah.
Like, they don't spend days on the moon. They spend, like, a few hours.
Yeah.
Maybe I think it was 24 hours on the moon, and they have to come back. Like, they're not spending, like, It's not like, hey, we get there in a few hours and we spend 3 days and come back.
Yeah.
No, it's it's a long ass voyage there and a long ass voyage back.
Yeah.
So you don't get much time there. Now, can you conserve some of that time by having a launch platform from the International Space Station? So now you can spend, instead of 1 day, you can spend 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Because you're not going as far. But I don't know.
Then if you had a base on the moon, it'd be a different story.
Right. But it all goes back to, like, well, okay, so then the next step is, well, how do you, like, put a base on the moon, have it powered, and then have the ability to fuel and fly back?
Right.
There's a lot of... I mean, a lot of those questions are addressed in that show, For All Mankind.
Mm.
Like, in that show, like, in the first season, like, they go from, like, they take Space Lab and convert the idea of Space Lab, which is what they were working on at that time in, like, 74. They take those plans, and they convert that into the first manned base on the moon.
Lunar base.
Yeah. Like, which is, like, a fascinating idea of what if NASA had to do that. And then, but before you could do that, the first thing you had to do is go there and find ice.
Right.
If you can't stay if you don't have ice.
Yeah.
Because you need ice to create water.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of interesting stuff, like, that goes into that. But going 2 miles down.
Yeah. But then you got to think of how you're going to create 0G on the moon.
The moon does have gravity.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
But it's just weaker gravity.
Yeah.
Like, you bounce on the moon. You know what I mean? So, like, there is a form of gravity there pulling you back down to it. It's not like if you jump, you just keep going.
All right.
Now, within the force, you would.
Yeah. I'm talking if you had a base there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, how do you create an artificial gravity that's equal to Earth?
Correct.
That'd be very difficult to do.
Correct.
You
But
know.
that's half the problem.
Right.
Is because you get muscle breakdown, your
Right.
body breaks down.
Well, I mean, I mean, those guys that spend a year in 0G, when they come home, they have all sorts of fucking problems.
Yeah.
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 No matter how hard you try.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like.
Yeah. Which is also the problem that you face if you're going to go to
Mars.
Yeah.
I don't know what Mars's gravity is.
I think things are slightly heavier on Mars, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But it's still, like, it's doable. I mean, the rovers they've sent there, like, they're not, like, they've sent stuff to Venus that's been crushed because of gravity. Like they've sent stuff to Venus and, like, it doesn't even get to the ground before it's just because the atmosphere is, like, the gravity is so dense it just gets crushed before it even makes landfall.
Really?
Yeah. But so, like, you could see that it's doable based upon how the lunar or the Mars rovers have, the way stuff's come down, the way they're able to move and function without being crushed.
Have they found ice on Mars?
I think they have, but they haven't gotten anything there to check it out yet.
Yeah. Just curious.
Yeah.
This looks pretty desolate to me.
Yeah, well, again, I mean, that's the key to everything is, like, can you find ice?
Yeah.
Because if you can find, ice, now you have water, and that's the beginning of everything.
Yeah. Do you think that planet was habitated at one time?
Well,
I'm serious.
I feel like if it was, I guess that question, like, how far would that habitation have gotten then? Because clearly there's no ruins that we're seeing
Right.
at all.
Right.
So no, I don't think there's ever been I think if there's life, it's always been microscopic.
Okay.
Like that, I wouldn't be surprised by. I wouldn't be surprised if you found microscopic life on Mars. I just don't think you would ever find evidence of like civilization of any type.
Okay.
Like nothing that we would recognize as regular old life, even animals.
Yeah.
Like nothing that's ever developed there.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think we'd have seen evidence by now if there or
Right.
something.
Yeah.
I mean, you would have seen if there was, you would have seen structures by now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not saying you're going to see a dead tree. I mean, everything's covered up in sand
Right.
and rock. But what I'm saying is you would have seen something. And I look at the pictures, I was like, yeah, they're cool, but it's all rocks.
Yeah.
It's like the desert.
Yeah, I mean, you could have taken that in Vegas.
Right.
You know. You could have taken that in Vegas and photoshopped it to
Or
red.
did they?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm sure there's somebody out there. You see, Sean?
That's my backyard in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Nah, but I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah. I remember watching that show.
Just would like to find life on another planet. I mean, we can't be the only ones in this whole fucking.
I remember watching that show. It was about Mars. I think it was just called Mars. It was a National Geographic show.
Mm-hmm.
But it was intercut with it was like telling a story, like a fictional story about us going to Mars. But it was also intercut with like experts talking about what Mars means. Like Elon Musk was talking about it, and it was like the commercialization of Mars, and what if you find some sort of resource there that changes the game as far as energy consumption.
Yeah.
Well, now all of a sudden corporations are going to be scurrying to go to Mars to exploit said resource.
Sure.
I mean,
That's what it's going to be about.
yeah. Like, the old joke is like, if they said, well, we found oil on Mars, Exxon would have a ship there next week.
Yeah.
So that's the funny thing is like, it was an interesting watch. I wish I could remember a lot of it, but it was always intercut with like experts in the field talking about like, okay, here's an emergency situation. This is what would have to happen. Here's the time lapse between Earth and Mars. And, like it was really interesting to like kind of just hear it talked about.
Yeah.
And not just as a fictional show, but like actual experts like coming on and talking about what was going on the show and how that would translate in real life.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting. I enjoyed that.
That's cool.
And I do have also. Let me get the articles. I wanted to talk about this. I found it interesting. Getting away from kind of nerdy stuff to real life.
Yeah.
And there is a petition being passed around about overweight people and how they have to pay to fly.
Okay.
And it says here, policies around plus-size travelers tend to vary from airline to airline. Well, a number, including United Airlines, requires customers who require extra seating to buy an additional seat in advance. Some refund the purchase if one or more seats are available after takeoff. However, there is no universal such standard. So, overweight people who want to travel would like to see the government enforce a national regulated policy for plus-size travelers.
Mm-hmm.
Because they feel they're paying more, in many instances, to get the same experience as a non-plus-size person.
Okay.
Okay. I'm a plus-size person. I will tell you, amongst the litany of reasons I do not want to travel, I will tell you right now, very, very high on that list, probably in the top 3, is my weight.
Yeah.
I am not going to lie to you for a second. My weight is an issue why I don't have a desire to travel.
Okay.
Okay? I'm what a doctor would probably call morbidly obese.
Okay.
Okay? And so, yes, the convenience of air travel doesn't appeal to me because it's not convenient. It would be more expensive for me. I would have to buy 2 seats. I'd have to have a seatbelt extender. Right? There's a lot of stuff that goes into a person of my size traveling via air that have to go through to get anything out of it. However, I do also feel air travel is not a right.
Okay.
It's a privilege.
Okay.
There is nothing that says you have the right to fly someplace.
Okay.
There isn't. I mean, it's just like driving your car. Having a driver's license is a privilege, not a right.
Yeah.
That can be taken away from you at any time.
Yeah.
Based upon your driving record, based upon your age, and based upon your ability to actually drive.
Right.
So it's the same thing with flying. Flying is not a right. Nowhere in the Constitution does it guarantee you the right to fly. Right. It is a privilege that you pay for.
Right.
So to me, an airline has the right to enforce any regulation they want to on a person of size.
Okay.
And the government has no right to tell that airline how to do it.
Okay. I get that. Sucks, but I get it.
Right. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you are some, and I know it's a harsh thing to say, and I understand some people, they have difficulty with it, but if you really want to travel, if you really want to go and see the world, like, lose some weight.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you have to be skinny, but I am saying, like, you need to find a way to... Now, I do think there is some bullshit to this. Like, the average seat size in the past 5 years has gone from being 18.5 inches to 17 inches. There's been 1.5 inches of seat size lost, so you can fit more seats in an airplane.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, I understand from that standpoint, yeah, it's a bit of bullshit.
Yeah.
And but at the same time, the airline has the right to do that because they're trying to get as many butts and seats as they can.
Right.
But what they're not counting on is you.
Yeah.
They're, like, again, we were talking earlier about, like, you know, going to the bottom of the sea and the risks involved with that. Airline flight is a risk.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as much of a risk as going to the bottom of the sea, I understand, but still, if I'm a 450-pound person, which I am, that has to be accounted for when you're talking about fuel consumption. Plane is heavier.
Right.
I'm taking up the space of 2, maybe 3 people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, like, I read this article, and I as a fat person, was, like, partially offended by it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, they don't have to conform to us, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they don't. Like, we have to conform to them.
Right.
And they're like, oh, it's so hard to fly as a... Like, they're blogging about it. They have TikToks about it and all this stuff. And, and the airlines are upset with them. But at the same time, like... if you're somebody who wants to travel the world, if you want to see the world, and you need to lose a little weight, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, Am I wrong? Am I, or is it just like, am I a dick?
No, I think you're right. I think flying is a privilege.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think it's your God-given right that you fly.
Right.
You know what I mean? But, you know, they don't do that at theme parks.
No.
They don't make extra big seats for
No.
bigger people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like the government coming in and saying, you got to make extra big seats for big people.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
No.
You know, so I understand that. I think that's a losing battle.
I do too, but people like. There's a game that's being played. We have to. I'm gonna say something I shouldn't say, and I know that, and I don't believe that, but it is like this whole thing of like accept somebody as they are, okay, and that's not right in all circumstances. Like, I'm not saying that I as a fat person should be bashed for being obese. Okay, like I'm not saying that at all. Like I don't want to be fat shamed. I don't want you to, like, you know, I don't want to be ridiculed for my weight. But at the same time, I, as a fat person, understand there are a number of things I cannot do because of my weight, and I've accepted that.
Yeah.
Now, some of those things, like air travel, well, I'll admit, like, top 3 is my weight. There are 100 other reasons that I don't want to travel to places. You know what I mean? Like, I have no interest in it whatsoever. Like, I have no desire to see the tourist attractions of the world. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and so because of that, like, I'm not throwing a pity party about it. Now, I do miss riding roller coasters.
Yeah.
I would probably go to Cedar Point. I'd probably go to Kennywood. I'd probably go to, like, I wouldn't travel to Disney or something like that, but I would, like, if it's within driving distance, I would probably go to a theme park or amusement park and ride roller coasters. Hershey. I go to Hershey.
Yeah.
Because of my weight, I don't.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, now that bums me out. But I also understand that because of my weight, I can't do that. So you either do something about it or you miss out. Well, I'm missing out right now because I'm not doing anything about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know if that mindset's right or wrong, but it's the way I certainly think. You know, but I'm not expecting Cedar Point to be able to accommodate me to ride a roller coaster.
Right.
I understand that they can't.
Right.
You know, so I don't know. It's just this weird thing of, like, I don't understand how other people think that way. Like, you know, well, they have to conform to me because I'm this way. Well, no, we don't. Not in this instance.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I know. It's a gray area.
It is. I mean, but it pissed me off because I feel like it's like that thing of, like, it's just that thing of, like, I don't know how to describe it. It agitated me because I felt like, as a fat person, you're not speaking for how I feel.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not asking you to accept it and be, like, happy that I'm a fat guy, but at the same time, like, I just have to know what my restrictions are.
Yeah.
Like, I know I can't do X, Y, and Z. You know, going to a picnic and sitting in a plastic chair is a bad idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it just is. You know,
Yeah.
if I'm going to go to a picnic, I have to bring my own chair.
Yeah.
And it has to be specially reinforced, you know, because of my size. I understand that. You know what I mean? Like, it's stuff like that, like, now, going to said picnic, it would be wrong of me to expect somebody to have something there to accommodate me.
Right.
You know, and do I stomp my feet and, you know, pout because you don't have a chair that I can sit in? Well, no. I shouldn't expect that.
Right.
You know, that's the thing. I guess that's the way I'm looking at it. Is like, you know. And I feel like as a guy of weight, like, I can say that.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I'm not, you know, if you're big, you're big. I get that. But, like, you shouldn't expect the world to, like, can just conform to what you want to do.
Yeah, I agree.
And the government certainly shouldn't be regulating that shit.
No.
There's other things the government should be doing. They shouldn't be worrying about fat people.
Right.
You know?
That's Schwarzenegger's job.
Yeah.
You got to get to the shape.
We're going to pump you up.
I'll be back.
You know, with a salad for you. You know.
Exactly.
Put down that cheeseburger, fatty.
I watched that series.
Fubar.
No, I watched his.
Oh, the Schwarzenegger. Okay.
That was great.
Was it? I've been meaning to watch it.
It was awesome.
Good.
It was.
Yeah.
It went into a little bit about his divorce.
Yeah.
But it's a 3-parter.
Yeah.
It was excellent.
Yeah.
It gave you real inside
Yeah.
track on Schwarzenegger. Not like Pumping Iron was different than this.
Yeah.
This is actually a 3-part documentary on Schwarzenegger himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. Like, really good.
Yeah.
I was shocked. This place is off the hook, though.
Oh, I'm sure.
The thing I found interesting about Schwarzenegger was he was a self-made millionaire by the time he was 20.
Yeah.
Not just from pumping iron and weightlifting. He bought, like, massive amount of property in California.
Yeah.
Like rentals and stuff like that, and like apartments and shit like that, condos. Like, he was a self-made millionaire before he even entered movies.
He's he's an extraordinarily intelligent man.
Yeah.
Like, he has an extreme business savvy that unfortunately, the citizens of California will tell you didn't translate into being a good governor. But
depends on how you look at it.
I guess, yeah. But it's just this interesting thing of, like, he was able to, like you said, he was smart enough, like, okay, I'm going to invest in property. It's that old Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Lex Luthor, they're not building anymore. Land. It's only going to go up. So, like, I could see, like, him making, like, a move like that, and, like, you think of him as just this big dumb brute, and he's not.
Yeah, I know.
He's much more than that.
Intelligent. Yeah, it was crazy. But anyway, like, it was really good, and they showed him on his place too.
Yeah.
Now he likes to smoke his cigars and
yeah.
His miniature donkeys and
yeah.
it's funny. I mean,
Yeah.
like, he has his toys.
Yeah.
He has these vehicles on his farm, on his acres. I'm not going to say farm because it's not really a farm. But it's rather interesting. They even had interviews with, like, Jamie Lee Curtis, and there was a lot of interviews on there with famous people.
Yeah.
DeVito. I mean, like, everybody was chiming in.
I'm just
Pretty
picturing, like, Jordan in The Last Dance.
Yeah.
Like, sitting there like that moment. There's that one moment. I think it was with what's his name? Isaiah Thomas was talking about why he was excluded from the Dream Team, and Jordan's just like laughing and stomping his feet as he's watching the iPad from that interview.
Yeah.
You know, like Jordan's like, yeah, and I took that personally. You know, like shit like that. Like I was just imagining Schwarzenegger like with like a big stogie in his mouth, a little glass of bourbon, you know, and I took that personally. You know,
they showed him working out too. It was good. But it went from like rough beginnings. Like it took him from like where he was born to where he is now.
Yeah.
Like it was pretty detailed.
Yeah.
You know, like it was pretty good. I quite enjoyed it, and there was a lot of videos and you know like old archive photos, you know, of him in the day and how he got his beginnings and lifting and everything. And then he came to America and that all changed.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was good, man. It was like. Interesting. They even had an interview with Stallone.
Yeah.
You know, and Stallone was like, "Yeah, we hated each other. We couldn't stand being in the same room together."
Oh, I'm sure.
But Arnold was like, and even Stallone admitted it was the competition level.
Yeah.
He was like, "I compete. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he was my competition.
Yeah.
He came out with one thing. I came out with another thing.
Yeah.
He killed 10 people. I killed 20.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was this competition thing
Yeah.
between the two of them. Which turned out pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we got some decent movies out of it.
Oh,
know?
yeah.
Like, you know, Arnold did Kindergarten Cop and Twins, and Stallone did, you know, the one with the spaghetti. No, I'm saying, but what I'm or Rhinestone, you know.
Rhinestone, yeah.
But what I'm saying is like there was that they mimicked each other.
Yeah.
A lot. I think they've moved past that now. You know, maybe, but
yeah. I mean, they made that movie together.
Yeah. Which was a good movie.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, quite enjoyed it. It was good seeing Arnold. I don't know. In that light.
Yeah.
I've never seen a documentary just on Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah.
Tell you what though, under this fucking glass case.
Yeah.
It's like the Rose and Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
That's the kind of dome style.
Yeah.
Is the fucking hand from
Oh yeah, the
T2.
T2.
That's like
Yeah.
that's incredible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's too much.
Yeah.
You know. Too much. I was so impressed by that. I was like, that's in his den.
Yeah.
It's like,
you know, I can't wait for it. It's coming out in a few weeks. It's on Netflix. It's a docu series called Muscles and Mayhem, and it's this untold story of American gladiators.
okay.
Oh, I can't wait for this.
Really?
Oh, I can't, because I love that show.
Yeah.
I loved watching that show. Like, I thought that show was amazing, because it was like I couldn't imagine like what those athletes went through, because like it was, to me, like watching that show, it was like these guys are never injured, like, are they? Or well, they have to be.
Yeah.
Like, they're doing some stupid shit.
Yeah.
And you know, you're going to tell me that, you know, these people weren't getting hurt?
Yeah.
They have to be. And then just nutting up because you know they're replaceable.
Yeah.
You know, and it was I can't wait for it, because it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be like this is what it really was, like what you saw on TV and what was really happening are like two completely different things.
Yeah.
You know, and I can't wait for it.
He even went into steroids.
Oh yeah,
He was like, everybody was doing steroids. He was regulated.
yeah,
It was like, you did so much of this, so much of this, so much of this, so much of this. Like, it was, doctors were
Right.
prescribing.
yeah,
And it was like, you have to stay on this pattern.
yeah,
You can't go on. And then you stop, he said. Then
Right.
You stop for like 5 months.
right,
And then you went back on that regimen again.
yeah.
You know?
Well, that's what I hate, like when people talk about like the Steelers of the '70s like cheated because all the linemen were on steroids. Well, it was legal.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything illegal about it. In fact, they didn't pass a law that steroids were illegal until like 1989.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, that's when like the steroid trial for Vince McMahon came in.
Yeah.
So like it was like that. It's that funny thing of like, yeah, like back then, it wasn't regulated at all. Like it was completely legal. There was no problems with it.
Yeah.
And yeah, doctors were helping you through your cycle.
That's what I mean. That's what Arnold talked about. He
Yeah.
was like, yeah, you did this and this, and he was like, that's what we did.
Yeah.
It was legal.
Yeah.
And this is how it was regulated by the doctors.
Yeah. Which is why you go from Rocky 1, where, Stallone's a plug, to Rocky 4, where he's got an 8-pack.
He had that 8-pack in 3.
Yeah, but I mean, in 4, it was like,
Yeah.
He was lean. Like, there was like zero fat on that motherfucker in 4.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Well, he was pretty lean in 3, too.
He was pretty lean in 3, but like...
Do you remember him hitting that fucking boxing bag in the fucking gigantic hotel room?
Yeah.
He was like, I was like, jeez.
Yeah, but I mean, like, come 4, like, even like the Rocky on the poster, you were like, oh, shit.
Man, who's the new girl?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. He was a different person.
Yeah.
He's big now.
Yeah, I mean, Stallone in First Blood and Stallone in Rambo Part 3.
Yeah.
Those are 2 different Rambos.
Yeah. I like how he's aged, though.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if Arnie's older than Stallone.
Let's take a look.
I wonder, because...
So, Sylvester Stallone.
Arnie's become barrel-chested.
Yeah. So Stallone was born July 6, 1946.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Arnold Schwarzenegger was born July 30th, 1947. So Stallone is 1 year older.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're up there.
They are. I mean, they're both in their 70s. I mean, who would think, like, I mean, both of them have found, like, new life in a lot of ways over the past
Oh, yeah, they have.
so many years.
You have to give them props, too, because they're pretty much the godfathers of the modern-day action movie.
Oh, yeah.
Both of them. I mean, everything before them was kind of like spy-related. You know what I mean?
Or like the French Connection.
Yeah.
Or,
Bonds.
stuff like... Bond. But, like...
Not like this.
No.
Not like early stuff. Like Commando and Rambo.
Well, I mean, there's the 3 of them. I mean, it was like Stallone, it was Schwarzenegger, and it was Kurt Russell.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Stallone and Schwarzenegger are like 1 and 1A, and Russell's like 2.
Yeah.
But like when you're talking about like the big, like, and then Bruce Willis comes in there.
Yeah. Like,
But like, I mean, I remember like when fucking whatchamacallit came out with Stallone and Kurt Russell.
Tango and Cash.
Like, I was like, holy shit. Like, I was like, I can't wait. Like, I mean, it's a turd of a movie.
Yeah, it is.
But, like, still, like, at the time, it was like, oh, man, I can't wait to see this.
Yeah. But at that time period, I mean, there was some... I mean, they did a lot of action movies.
Yeah.
Like modern-day action movies.
Yeah.
That were, like, kind of set the standard back then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But, I don't know. I'll watch, anytime they're in a movie, I'll watch it. Doesn't matter.
I agree.
If it's an action movie, I'm watching it.
Well, no, there are some I won't watch. I mean, like, I'm not going to watch Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if I see Commando, if I see Cobra, you know, Cliffhanger.
Yeah, watch it.
Yeah, I'm right there.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Running Man.
Yeah. Predator. Yeah, any of those movies.
Yeah.
They're just good movies. I mean, action movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
The movie that shall not be named, I'm skipping.
Yeah. But, I mean, what I'm saying is, like, there was a lot of fakes back then, too. That tried to be that level, but they just never achieved it. They can never achieve that level of greatness that those two put out. I don't think.
Yeah, like...
Maybe Bloodsport.
Like, Van Damme came close. Like, there's a lot of good movies he made. Like, Universal Soldier and Time Cop. Bloodsport. As odd as this is going to sound... Street Fighter's not a bad movie. I like that.
Okay.
I think I give it a pass because of Raul Julia. Like, it's just like this. It's almost like...
Who's he? M. Bison?
Yeah, he's M. Bison. It's almost like you like the Masters of the Universe movie is almost watchable, not because it's a good story, not because of Dolph Lundgren, but because of Frank Langella playing Skeletor and just chewing up scenery the entire time.
Yeah.
You know, like, there's nothing redeeming about that movie except for the guy playing Skeletor.
Right.
You know, and it's the same thing with, like, Street Fighter. I think it's probably not a good movie, but, like, in my head it is because Raul Julia is just hamming it up.
Right.
I'm trying to think of what else.
There was a shit ton of terrible action movies made back then.
Oh, yeah.
I just can't think of any of them because they're not they're not notable. Truly.
But, like, what's funny is, though, like in the 90s, like, action movies kind of started to change. Like, Bruce Willis was still making, like, action movies. You know, but... And then you have, like, I mean, that was when, like, you started bringing in, like, Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
You know, that's when he was doing his thing as well. So he's like probably number 3 or 4, like, on that list.
Yeah.
You know, I know there were a lot of bad action movies that were being made. I think a lot of them starred Bruce Campbell.
Huh.
Love Bruce Campbell, but man, he made some shit. Man just wanted to get paid.
It wasn't just that. There was just some terrible movies.
Yeah. But like, it became that became the, because like the 90s kind of became the start of, like, you know, let's try to build a franchise. And so, like, a lot of that stuff did go straight to video.
Yeah.
You know, that was like the rise of, like, American Ninja 6.
Yeah.
And, you know, stuff like that.
Iron Eagle 7.
Yeah. Like, you know, Back for More, you know, and shit like that, where you're like, oh, this is awful.
Yeah, terrible 80s montage music.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anything like to add to the proceedings there, sir?
No, man, I'm good.
All right, well, remember there are a number of different ways you can reach out and touch us. You can send us an email. That email address is pittsburghnerd@yahoo.com. Oh, hold on. Shit. I almost forgot. As I'm saying that, we got an email from our good friend, Superfan Tim.
Cool.
Fed also wrote in bitching about us not having an episode last week. I'm fucking sorry. But here we go. Tim writes in. After 3 attempts, I finished Thor Love and Thunder. Please, sweet baby Jesus, keep Wakiki Takiki from making any more Marvel or Star Wars projects. I don't care if it's a movie or a series or just a singular episode of a show. Get fucked.
Okay.
Dear Tiki Torch Da Doo Doo. No offense, I love what we do in the shadows. It's hilarious. Funny as hell. Do that shit. Do a bunch of it. Just fucking stop with the humor rape crime you commit on established franchises. Regards, Otter. I kind of agree.
I agree with Thor. There were parts of Thor that I loved, but there was a lot of parts I didn't like.
I thought Love and Thunder was better than Ragnarok. I think we discussed that. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, again, we discussed the Zeus scene and everything involved with the orgies. I'm like, what the fuck, But I thought overall it wasn't. It wasn't a favorite, but I will freely admit I haven't gone back and watched it since.
I have.
Have you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, number one, I like the villain.
Yeah. Christian Bale is great.
And I loved her.
Yeah.
I thought she was great, and I liked her story.
Yeah.
I got that.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like, I was in. I understand. Completely. I mean, that was a great storyline. The Drive. You know what I mean? But there was just parts that I were just like, just not into.
Yeah. I mean, I also thought, much like James Gunn's use of music, Watala's use of, November Rain.
Yeah,
that was amazing. I mean, and even in the previous, in Ragnarok, the way he used the Led Zeppelin song.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, with that film, it just started off so strong, and then it just...
Yeah. That movie just went so fucking far sideways.
Yeah, it did. It really did. Because there were a lot of parts I loved about the movie.
Yeah.
But same respect. Wasted characters.
Yeah.
Wasted battles.
Yeah.
That you could have had on an epic scale. And it never happened. Then they killed off all the guys.
Yeah.
It just made it even worse.
I mean, anytime you completely waste fucking, what's his name? The guy who plays Bones in Star Trek.
Carl
Urban. Anytime you waste Carl Urban is a crime against humanity to me. And Carl Urban is wasted in that movie. Carl Urban.
I think what the most fucking frustrating part of that film is the next film for the Avengers. That was wasn't it? Yeah, next film for the Avengers.
Yeah. Because that ended with them coming across Thanos' ship and into Avengers.
What a
Infinity
fucking pointless
War.
movie.
Yeah.
It totally undermined the whole movie that you just saw. As bad as it was, the fact that they all got off on their ship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Da 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 da. And now there's only a handful left.
Yeah.
After all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of that happening. The giant battle, everything else, da 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 da.
Yeah.
They get on the ship, they get about 2 hours in, and Thanos comes in and kills everybody. Almost.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that when I watched Avengers.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I mean, we just watched this movie and
Yeah, because it opens up with that, and again, wasting Tom Hiddleston in many ways.
Yeah.
But the light side of that is he gives us the Loki TV series, which is fantastic.
Yeah. No.
So.
Nothing will ever beat when Thor fucking cut his head off in fucking Endgame.
Oh yeah.
Oh. And the blood went on Nebula like that.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, that's bad. Bad assery.
I took his advice. I went for the head.
Well, that's the thing, and that's what was so exciting about that scene is like you saw Thor again.
Yeah.
I wish I had this Thor.
Yeah.
Throughout, and I didn't.
I did like Fat Thor though, but I like Fat Thor because of the, like, him dealing with his own trauma. Like, this is what he would become. Like, you know, like I dug that. Like that's a bold decision to make, and I didn't mind it. But you're right. Like I guess like when you look at the comic book Thor, like he is like everyone. Well, he's the least likable character. Well, yeah, he is.
Well, he's if you read him in the comic,
Yeah,
he's very much like you're gonna kill me for saying this, but he's almost Supermanish.
Yeah,
in a way.
Yeah, he is. No, you're right.
Do you know what I mean?
I can't disagree with that.
Like,
but it's also the things that are taking place on Asgard are more important to him.
Yeah.
You know, like Earth is important to him, but you know, Asgard is more important. He abandons Earth a couple of times.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
because Asgard needs him. You know, but then when he shows up, it's like a badass moment, like in Secret Invasion when Nick Fury's like, "Yeah, I have a god," and he carries a hammer. You know, and Thor shows up, and the Skrull's like, "Oh shit!" You know.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's stuff like that you're just like, "Oh fuck yeah!" You know. So.
I mean, I think the way they depicted him, and especially the way they depicted Mjolnir, was really good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like holding it up,
Yeah.
those shots, the lightning coming down, the lightning going into the eyes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's good stuff. Thor, when Cap tells him to go up and
Yeah.
from the the Empire State,
Yeah.
and get
The Chrysler Building, I think. Yeah.
Chrysler Building and
Yeah.
they do the electricity of
Yeah.
awesome, right? Wielding the hammer.
Right.
The battles, even in Love and Thunder, were good. The battles were phenomenal.
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it's just like this. And there's just like that dumb side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially in, like, when he was leaving the Guardians.
Yeah.
Like that. I get it. It was funny. It just wasn't needed.
Yeah.
It was just like. It's almost like they crammed it in there. You just didn't need all of that.
Yeah.
Probably needed like a line from Nebula when she was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna shoot it." Now that's funny.
Yeah.
But the shit from Thor going, you know what I mean? Like that stuff. I just don't. I think that's one of the most disappointing things in the Avengers series is actually Thor.
Yeah.
Really?
Because I thought they portrayed him well in the first movie.
I did too.
Even in the second movie, even though it's a bit of a turd.
Yeah.
You know, and then Takeshi Watala gets a hold of him and makes him a joke.
Kind of ruined him for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sucks.
Yeah. But yeah, like when the Russos have I mean, there's that moment like in Infinity War where they're, you know, he's talking to Rocket and he's talking about like, you know, everybody I know is fucking dead except for me. You know,
yeah.
You know, Rocket's like, you sure you're able to take it? It's like, you know, I'm so many years old and I ain't dead yet. You can't kill me. You know, like, I mean, it's like very interesting. Like
their take on him.
Yeah.
When they get a hold of him.
Yeah.
It's a different tale. Sort of.
Sort of. I mean, he was still a little. I mean, and especially going into Endgame, you know, like there's that scene like where he's like trying to describe like the Reality Stone.
The big Lebowski moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh, come on. But then there are other moments like the moment in, you know, when they're in, when they're trying to get, and he's talking to his mother and, you know, and he calls for Mjolnir. He's like, I'm still worthy. That's an important moment.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he's still worthy of Mjolnir. You know,
yeah.
There's stuff like that like, you know, is interesting to me.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like then the character's interesting, but like you're right, like and like there are moments where you're just like, man, this just isn't the character I wanted.
Yeah, it just kind of got like.
It was like people looked at the character and were like, yeah, he's the least interesting. I don't like that character. So they brought in Watala to make him likable. But yet the thing about Thor is he really isn't all that likable.
No. He's not supposed to be.
No. He's a god.
Yeah. He's like, if not the most powerful Avenger there is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just felt like he was weakened to a point where it was just like, and I get I understand his downfall. I mean, not his downfall, but what he was going through.
Right.
I get it. You know what I mean? But I just felt like the comedy was forced.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Especially when Hulk went to go get him in the fucking thing. It's like, yeah. Beers in the fridge, yeah, all that kind of crap.
Yeah.
You know, the only cool part of that is when Thor was like, "Don't ever say that name." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And Hulk's like, "You need to get your hand off this son."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was an important part.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was a good thing that came out of that. But
Yeah.
the whole beer thing, I get it, but you're like cramming it down my throat.
Yeah.
He's either on or not.
Yeah.
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 But you're right. That thing when he's with his mother is good.
Yeah.
Like that's good acting right there. That was going
Right.
on there.
And he has to have that vulnerability because he is suffering from trauma. You know, the trauma of I didn't get the job done.
Right.
And he tells me why I didn't get the job done.
Right.
Like, you know, here's your mistake, boy. You should have went for the head. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, wow.
Can you like imagine being right there when it happens?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
And I mean, like, and the thing about that is, it's like, how do you live with the fact that, like, I screwed up?
Yeah.
I thought I put a fucking blade right through his chest and that wasn't enough.
Yeah, I know. It was a good moment.
Yeah.
That's why I like Endgames. Not that we're going down this road. I'm just real quick, but I mean, like, that's why I like Endgame so much because it was so good that they explored those characters
Right.
on how they're dealing with things.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Each one of them have trauma,
Right.
and in each one of them there's guilt
Right.
on what happened. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, like, even when, just even in the beginning, perfect song choice.
Yeah.
Renner,
Oh,
perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was like a beautiful moment, like cinematic moment where it's just like, they're gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then he turns it around.
Yeah.
But that's what he did.
Right.
But I thought they depicted that very well.
Right.
You know, we see Cap, he's in therapy, for God's sakes. Or he's leading therapy and in therapy.
Yeah.
He can't deal with it. Black Widow's doing her thing. That's the
Right.
only thing she knows what to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Paul Rudd's clueless because he's just coming back and doesn't know what the fuck's going on.
Right.
Hulk's doing his thing. You know what I mean? They're all kind of just, it's so fractured. And Tony's starting his life over.
Yeah.
You know, but how they come back together, I guess, what's important. And that those two movies together are really good.
Yeah.
It's a really good story.
It is.
You know what I mean? Well written. I mean, from the books.
Yeah.
It was well pieced together.
Yeah.
Like, anyway. But I just got tired of Thor's story.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to see the Big Lebowski Thor anymore. Like, you don't need the comedy.
Yeah.
You can get that from, you know.
Yeah. I agree.
All right, done.
All right. So, like you said, you send us an email like Tim did. That email address is pittsburghnerd@yahoo.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, or Mastodon. Just search Pittsburgh Nerd Podcast. We're very, very easy to find. And we are on a number of podcasting networks. You can find us on the Tangent Bound Network, the Weeby Geeks Network, and the Pod Breed Network. Just give them a Google search. You can find all the other great podcasts that they have to offer. And last, I just always want to thank you, dear listener, for taking the time to check us out each and every week. We can't thank you enough for that. It means a great deal. And hopefully I don't fuck this up. And so on that note, the dreamer has awakened.
Peace.